Good evening, everybody. We're about to go live here at Shining Waters Yoga Studio with this Wednesday evening's class for low back pain. If you've taken any of my other classes, you'll know this is a little bit different scenario. I'm trying some different things out with the live classes. This happens to be an empty room in my house. So I'm trying it out rather than my usual studio space, just thinking about rearranging some things. So I'm hoping that the video and the audio are good. There might be a bit of an echo in this room since there isn't really any furniture in it anymore. And earlier I tried this earlier and I got a little bit of a signal that, a message from the computer that my signal was weak. So hopefully that will not happen, but we'll just try it and see. So working out the kinks right now so that hopefully by this fall, I'm going to have just a steady stream of videos to help you stay healthy that are yoga videos. More on that later. Tonight's practice is a practice for, it's geared toward low back discomfort, low back pain. You don't have to have low back pain to do this practice. It's also really good if you spend most of your day sitting, driving, any of those kinds of things, which tend to put a lot of strain on the lower back. If you have tight hamstrings or hips, this could also be helpful. I will say, and we will be doing some strengthening exercises for the low back as well. So depending on what you might be experiencing if you do have back pain, some of these things may be appropriate for you and some may not. So always listen to your body. Hopefully if you've got like some mysterious back pain and you don't know what's going on, please, please, please go see your doctor. It's great to have a diagnosis, to know what you're dealing with. Very important. And also always check with your doctor about what kinds of exercise are appropriate for you, because they will help you determine that, or your physical therapist or whoever you're working with. Because as I said, some of this can be a variety of things. I'm going to work more with extension than flexion. So if you're dealing with low back pain and you've got issues like bulging discs or a herniated disc, flexion is not going to be real good for you. So you want to avoid that as best you can. Unfortunately in life, life often requires us to bend forward if we're standing, and we have to pick something up. Try to use your legs, try to bend so that you're keeping the length in your spine rather than rounding forward. Most people probably know that. I think relatively common knowledge, but always good to say. And yeah, if you absolutely have to bend forward, always try to extend first, extend the spine, and maybe come to bent knees and then come to your floor. So we're going to work more on extension today than flexion. What else to say? I think that is about it. Props, if you're using your mats like I am, if you like to have extra padding underneath, maybe a blanket for your knees or to sit upon, blocks if you want, and a strap if you have it. If you don't have a strap, no worries. It's just, so check my time, it's 6 o'clock, we'll get started. So very first thing, if you're having the low back pain, as I mentioned, flexion, not great. Sitting, also not great. We are going to start seated for a moment, but it can be very helpful to sit a little bit lifted. So on a folded blanket or cushion, that will help to tilt the pelvis forward so you're not rounding in the lower spine. Really want to make sure that you're not rounding in the lower spine. And if you're not sure, it's great to have a therapist or your physical therapist or someone in the house help to check you there. And then once we come to that comfortable seat, take a moment. You can even actually place the hands on the hips. Get familiar with your body. And just kind of notice, you might even tilt the pelvis a little bit forward and back and just notice back's probably not going to feel so good, right? So coming up on that little bit of lift, find a neutral pelvis, and then placing the hands down. We're going to start with Adho Marudanda Mudra. So curling the fingers in and the thumbs are going to stand straight up. Place the pinky sides down on your lap. Relax the shoulders down. If it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze or gaze downward. Just take a moment here to go inward. We won't stay seated too long, but just check in. Notice how your body's feeling today, what you're showing up with. Notice any discomfort. Bring awareness to the lower back, the pelvis, lower abdominal area. You could certainly be sitting in a chair right now as well. You don't have to sit cross-legged, just so you know. Just be present with what is. And then two things here. We're going to start to breathe into the belly. Feel the breath rise into the ribs and the chest. And then exhale and allow the air to come all the way out. Breathe into the belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling, chest, ribs, and belly. Again, breathing into the belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Breathing at your pace. A couple more breaths. Noticing how the breath lifts the spine. And noticing the effects of this mudra, if this maybe helps you find some space in the spine. And then taking a deep breath in. This time, as you exhale, I want you to imagine drawing 4 landmarks in the body together. The 2 sits bones, pubic bone, and the tailbone. Imagine as you exhale, drawing those points together. And then inhale, release. As you exhale, imagine drawing those 4 bony landmarks together. Pubic bone, tailbone, sits bones. So engaging what we call engaging those muscles. And then release on your inhale. Exhale, draw those landmarks together, those points together. And inhale, release. Again, you're breathing at your pace. It does not have to match mine. One more time. Exhale, draw those points together. See if you can feel that engagement there. And if there's any discomfort, just let it go. But it might feel good to sort of zip all of that together. And inhale and release. And then go ahead, open your eyes. You can release the mudra. We're going to do something very similar, but we're going to come onto our backs now. All the way onto your back. Knees are bent. You can have your strap nearby. So first thing, taking the heels of the hand to the top of your thigh. Notice the natural curve of your lower back. So some of us may be more curved than others. Some of us, the pelvis might tilt more backwards and there may not be a lot of space there. Try to encourage space there as you inhale. You're going to press into your thighs and try to allow the lower back to arch. And if you're really not finding much of an arch, you can try to arch the upper back as well, so draw the shoulders back. But for most of us, it's gonna be a really small movement. Just press, exhale, and just release. But as you release, see if you can draw those little landmarks together, the sits bones, the pubic bone, and the tailbone. And inhale, press into the thighs. Just kind of noticing, becoming aware of the body. Exhale and draw those points together. It's very internal. Okay, so it's not, sometimes we want to do everything really hard and we want to squeeze the glutes. So you don't have to do that. One more time, inhale, press into the thighs. And exhale, draw those points together. And relax and release all of that. And from here, we're going to inhale the arms overhead. And exhale and draw the knees in, straighten the legs up to the sky as you bring the arms down. So straight legs. When you're ready to inhale, bring the feet back down, arms overhead, starting position. Exhale, arms down and straighten the knees up to the ceiling. You don't have to come back towards your head, they just go straight up. Inhale, arms overhead, feet come down. And exhale and straighten the legs. And you can do that a couple of times at your own pace. If you feel like stopping in one posture or the other with the straight legs, or maybe with the arms up, and that little bit of arching of the spine. Exhaling, the lower back flattens out a little bit. And noticing if either of those postures feels better. Again, any discomfort. So no pain. I don't want you to feel any pain during this practice. If something's not right for you, just come out of it. And then let's straighten both legs actually. We're gonna walk our legs over to the right a little bit. Be careful if you have any props in the way. Right elbow a little to the right. So we're gonna start making this sort of a C shape with the body. It's not real extreme, but we're making kind of a banana shape. Again, notice any discomfort in the lower back, and if it's too much, stop. Don't go any farther. Take a deep breath in, imagining this whole left side expand. And if it feels right for you to go farther, you can cross your left foot over the right. Exhaling there. Take another deep breath. And exhale. So we're just trying to expand the side body. If this doesn't feel good with the legs kind of curving, we're going to do this again standing later with a neutral lower body. So this might be too much for you. Listen to what your body says. Take another deep breath. Exhale, release the upper body, uncross the legs, come back to neutral. And you can actually let your feet sort of flop in and out. And we'll start to go to the other side. So walk the feet over to the left and start to bend at the waist. So you're hinging at the waist, taking the left elbow towards the left, making that curve. Notice how that feels, if this side's different. And then maybe if it feels like you can go a little bit deeper, you could cross the right foot over the left. Take a deep breath and exhale it out. A couple more deep breaths here. Just noticing. And again, if it's too much, you can always release that top leg. We'll do one more. And come back to center with the upper body, release the feet, let the legs kind of come to just a little bit of space, maybe hip width apart, and let the feet flop a little bit. And then from here, we'll go ahead and start to hug the right knee into your chest. Extend the left foot out. If you're near a wall, you could even press that left foot into the wall. That might feel really good. If you're not near a wall, don't worry about it. Just imagine that there's one there and flex that foot as you hug the right knee in. Give it a good stretch. We're going to hold this for a few breaths. So we're starting to get into hip. We're going to do a little with hamstrings.
Low back pain can have many different causes, as I'm sure you know. Maybe you don't have a real severe issue and you just have tight hamstrings, tight hips. So we'll do a little bit with that, but we're going to be very gentle and careful. So if you've got a larger issue going on with the spine, the lower back, like I mentioned in the beginning, bulging discs, herniated discs, you be really careful with that. And again, check with your doctor before doing any kind of exercise. So from here, I'm just going to switch sides. Go ahead and straighten the right leg. And as you exhale, you can draw the left knee in. Again, really straighten that leg and press that foot as if you were pressing into a wall. And if you have a wall, that can be a great way to take this posture, sort of stabilize it. With every posture we do, really bring that awareness to the lower back. You can experiment here with drawing the sits bones and the pubic bone and the tailbone together energetically. Couple more breaths. Taking the time to release any tension in the glute. And then release down. We'll go ahead and bend the right knee one more time, and then this time we'll take a hamstring stretch. So if you don't have a strap, you can just start to extend the leg, flex the foot, and try to find a straight leg. So as you bring the toe towards the back wall, you may, if you're really tight, you might end up with this bent knee. Instead of having the bent knee, find where you can straighten the leg without hyperextending the knee. If you don't have a strap, but you can interlace your hands behind your thigh, that's great, that's perfect. If you can't reach the thigh, no worries. You're just gonna work a little harder to hold it up. Otherwise, using the hands or using a strap around the ball of the foot, go ahead and extend that leg. If you don't have a strap, another thing you could do is use a dog leash or a belt or a scarf or some other tool or band that you could use around the leg to hold it. Make sure you're not over-efforting here with the upper back or the shoulders or arms. We're just going to hold this for several breaths, breathing into the hamstring here, and as you exhale, imagine a little release there. We can turn the heel in slightly and toes out. Notice as you hold the stretch. With each exhale, if you can into the hands, sort of resisting the stretch. Eventually, on your last breath, as you exhale, maybe you find another centimeter or two to just bring that leg forward, and maybe not tonight. We'll go ahead and take one more breath here. Releasing the strap, you can draw the knee in, give it another squeeze. Circle the foot a little bit in one direction. And then the other, just warming up the feet for standing. We are going to do a little bit of standing. And then let go of that. We'll draw the left knee in. Other side, straighten the right leg. Actually, and I don't think I mentioned this on the other side, but you can start with a bent knee. Start to straighten it. And then if you want, straighten the bottom leg. And if that's too much, just keep this leg bent. So you have a choice. Same thing on this side, pressing the thigh into the hands. If you can, find that straight leg. If your knee is bent here, start to take the heel down away from you until you can find a straight leg. Feel the stretch in the thighs. Now, if you're that far away, you are going to feel it in your quadriceps as well. So the further up you're able to go, you're going to feel it more in the hamstrings. but it may take some time. You can use the strap if you have it around the ball of the foot and then turning the heel in just slightly. Maybe you extend that right leg. Breathe and notice if this side feels different from the other. You might have a tighter side. You might, maybe the side that's dominant, or oftentimes it's the right leg simply because it's our driving leg. So even whether you're right or left-sided, toe if you drive. So releasing all of that. And as you breathe, maybe you find a little bit more space to draw that foot towards you. Maybe not. Don't force it. We'll take one more deep breath here. And as you exhale, start to bend the knee in. You can put that strap aside. Maybe go ahead and do a couple of foot circles here. You have that foot. And the opposite way. And then we'll go ahead and start to turn onto your side or roll into your side, walk yourself up. We're going to come to our belly now. So a little bit of lower back strengthening. Be really mindful here if you're currently experiencing low back pain. So this is a little bit of strength. We're going to start real slow, keeping the feet about hip width apart. And you can either place your forehead down on the mat or turn your head to the side, whatever feels comfortable for your neck. Your hands are going to come down, fingertips in line with the shoulders, and elbows in really close. We're going to work towards cobra, but the first thing we're going to do is just roll the shoulders down and away from the ears. And then as you inhale, start to lift the head, the chest, the shoulders. So you're looking forward. Don't press down with your hands yet. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. And feel how that in-breath might lift you up higher without pressing down with the hands, without using your hands. Remember, any discomfort or pain in the low back, discomfort might be okay, depends on what you're feeling, but no pain. So same thing again. It can be helpful here to press down to the pubic bone. Feel that contact between the pubic bone and the floor. Inhale, lift the head, chest, shoulders, not too high. Breathe in again between your shoulder blades. Feel that expansion. And exhale back down. You can turn your head to the side if you want. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. Inhale again. Into that space between the shoulder blades. This time, press down with the hands. See if you can go up a little bit more. Notice how that feels in the low back, okay? Elbows in. Slowly, slowly, slowly lower back down. You can stack your hands for a minute. Rest your forehead. Take the feet a little wider. Wiggle the hips side to side. We're going to come into a space pose. Now, again, be really mindful here of any discomfort in the low back. So forearms down. Now the elbows are in line with the shoulders. As you inhale, think of lengthening your spine. So making space there between the vertebrae. And as you exhale, see if we do a little bit of abdominal strength here. See if you can lift the hips up off the floor. So you'll create some more length there. Exhale, slowly lower hips down, belly down. Inhale, look forward. As you exhale, draw the belly in. Maybe you're just drawing the belly to the spine. If you can, lift the hips up. If you can, tuck the toes and come into forearm plank. So if that's not where you are today, keep the legs down. You can also just keep working a couple more times on that cobra that we did. You can look forward. As you exhale, draw the belly up, lift the hips, maybe tuck the toes, come into forearm plank. Try not to let your head drop. You also don't want to
put it back. So you're just looking forward, maybe towards between your thumbs or the top of your mat. Keep that belly muscle engaged. Slowly lower thighs, hips. Again, rest, stack your hands, maybe rest your forehead or your head to the side. Take the legs a little wider, wiggle the hips. Pause here, notice how the low back feels. As you feel ready, we're gonna go ahead and come to a table position. So any knee issues, and actually as you come up there, make sure, I should demonstrate this, draw your belly in and use that belly muscle because that's one place getting up and down where we sometimes put too much pressure on the low back, using the wrong muscles to get up. Use those abdominal muscles. And come to your all fours, so your knees are hip width apart, hands are about shoulder width apart. We're gonna do a little bit of cow pose. We're not gonna do the cat where we round, but just inhaling. Imagine that you're actually taking your hands to the mat and sort of drawing the front of the mat towards you. You're not really gonna do that. It's just gonna be kind of energetically drawing it forward, drawing it towards you rather, looking forward. Inhaling, opening the chest, arching the back. So working more on this length rather than flexion. As you exhale, just come to neutral. So no rounding today. Arching, opening from the front body, and exhale and just release. Again, inhale, look forward, and if this is too much on your wrists, you can always be on forearms or fists. Exhale, just release. One more time, inhale. And exhale, release. From here, we're gonna take the right leg, step it back, lift it up, big toe points down. Feel that strength in the lower back. Draw the belly up and in. Don't let the lower back sag here. And maybe take the left arm out. See if you can find some balance there. Same thing goes if this is too much pressure on that hand, bring the left hand down, just work the leg, or take your fists or your forearms. Forearms might be a little bit harder if you're having low back pain. Release it down. Left side, stretch it back, reach back through the heel. Right arm out. Keep the belly engaged. Hold. And exhale it down. We're gonna do that a couple times as if you're almost walking in place. So stretch the right leg and the left hand. We're working on strength here now for the lower back. So this is a little bit more demanding. Left leg, right arm. Bring it down, right leg, left arm. And bring it down, left leg, right arm. Last time. A little bit different this time. Take the right leg out. Bend your knee, bring your heel towards your glute. Left arm out. See if you can reach back. Lift up here, open the chest. Can you grab that foot? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. We're not trying to fall forward, we want to open up. So it's okay to just reach the arm. And bring it down, bring the knee down. Take a pause if you need to. We'll go to the other side, straighten that left leg back. Bend the knee, heel towards the glute. Right arm reaches back, maybe you grab that foot. Press the foot into the hand, lift up, think of lifting up. Breathe, big breath in. Exhale, one more breath. Maybe you're just reaching towards the foot. And exhale gently, gently, gently. Release down. So, we're gonna try to avoid forward folds today. You're gonna start to walk your hands back to sit on your toes, if that's okay. You've got the blanket there for support on the knees. And then from here, this may be challenging for some of you. We're going to come to stand on the knees. Coming into a lunge, you're just going to step the right foot forward. So if there's any knee issues, again, you might want that padding. Coming into this low lunge, you also have the option to use blocks or books if you have them. So stepping that right foot forward, lifting up, bringing the hands maybe to the front thigh, stretching the front of the left thigh. Breathe, engage your belly here. Draw the belly up, lifting up off the thigh a little bit. And then we're going to leave that right hand on the thigh. Inhale, left arm all the way up. Bring the knee back behind the ankle. I don't know if you can see it with my block. So inhaling the arms up. If you're okay with the balance, as you exhale, bring the arms down. The hips can shift forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, shift forward. Or I'm sorry, I said keep that hand. You can do it with both hands or one hand. It depends on how you're balancing there. This is where your blocks can come in handy. Tuck that back toe. This can be a little more challenging. Bring that knee up. You can stay here in the sort of a low lunge, but we don't want a forward fold. So maybe bringing the hands to the thigh. Maybe reach all the way up. See if you can come into a high lunge. Breathe. Reach those arms. And exhale, coming forward. Keep the back lifted. Bring the back knee down. So we're going to transition to the other side. Step that leg back. Be really careful. We're not going to, there's a little bit of coming up and down, but not much. So again, from this kneeling position, we're going to step left foot forward. Come into low lunge. Breathe. As you exhale, let the hips sink in a little bit, open up. We're going to bring the hands to the front thigh. Bringing the knee back behind the ankle a little bit. Left hand will stay on the thigh. Inhale the right arm up. As you exhale, let the hips sort of shift back forward. But that's why we want to make that space so the knee's not going out over the toes. So press into that foot, inhale up. And exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lift up. If you're okay with the balance, you can do both arms. Lift, exhale, lift, and exhale. Come forward, blocks or not. So blocks are going to help us stay lifted so we're not bent forward with the hands on the floor. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. Maybe shorten your stance a little bit. Slowly start to come up. Maybe you find the thigh, maybe the arms can extend. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And exhale, take another inhale. Creating a little arch here in the lower back. From here, we're going to actually transition to standing. So if you want to come back to the knees and come up to stand, or if you're okay with it, I know it's kind of difficult sometimes when you have back pain to step the back foot forward. So if you can, step forward, come to a squat. Okay, bring the blocks forward, and then maybe come to squat balance. So this is going to depend on how strong your knees are. Pressing down through the balls of the feet, come to stand, inhale, and exhale, hands to your heart. Mountain pose, feet are going to be hip width apart. We'll do the next couple of things from here. So relax the shoulders down. I'm going to turn to face you, but you're going to be at the top of your mat. And I hope you can see me okay. Go ahead. My hair back. Take a couple breaths in your mountain pose. This is your little bit of rest here. And then as you're ready, we'll inhale the arms straight up. Actually, I'm going to turn again. Reach back with your arms. Take that little bit of a back bend. Keep the feet firmly planted. And exhale, hands to your heart. We'll do that again. If it's too much with the arms overhead, you can take the heels of the hands to your low back and just inhale, lift from the sternum this way. And exhale, release. This time, take a breath. As you exhale, imagine drawing those sits bones, tailbone, pubic bone together. Lift up and back as you inhale. And exhale, hands to your heart. Now I'm going to turn to face you. We're going to inhale the arms up one more time. This time, instead of back bending, exhale over to your right. Take that side body, creating space. Inhale for center. And exhale to the other side. Take the side bend on the other side. Think of our banana pose. Another breath here. You can always drop the bottom arm if you want. The side bend that way. Inhale to come up. Exhale, hands to your heart. You can pause, or if you want a little more challenge, bend your knees, come back to squat balance. And inhale, press down, and come all the way up. Exhale, release the arms. So, from the top of your mat, we're going to do a little warrior one and core strength for those who are up for it. This might be where you stop if you just want the gentle and maybe come back for the end. But we're going to do a little strength. Actually, this might feel good because we're standing and we're not going to be on the back. So from here, the first thing you're going to do is hands at your waist, step your right foot, big step back. If you like stepping forward better, then you can come back and step the left foot forward. Take a nice big stance, find your balance, back heel down. We're going to take the pelvis towards the front of the room or the front of your mat. Relax the shoulders. Again, ribs towards the front. And then inhale the arms up. Keep strengthening that back leg. I'm going to keep a little slight bend in the knee in my back leg. I'm actually dealing with a sprained knee right now, but make sure that if you tend to hyperextend your knee, then keep a little bend there. Exhale, hands to your heart. So we're going to do that again. We're going to move. This is the one thing we're going to do when we lean forward. We're not going to come into full flexion. So from this warrior two, and see if you can draw those four landmarks together, the tailbone and the pubic bone and the sits bones, and reach forward, extending your spine. And then the arms are going to drop down, but you're not going to come any farther forward. As you inhale, you're going to press through the back leg and reach all the way back up. Exhale, draw the tummy in and the four bony landmarks. You're really extending here, leaning forward, arms come down. Press through the back leg, inhale up. We'll do that 2 more times, nice and slow. So you're making the legs work. Exhale forward, keep the belly engaged. Inhale, reach up. Exhale forward. But you're not coming to a full forward fold, you're keeping the spine extended. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a nice bend in that front knee and step the back foot forward. March it out. We'll come to the other side. So hands at the waist. I'm going to turn around this way. You can stay on your mat the same way. Step the left foot a big step back. Find that warrior one. So you don't want the knee going over the toe. If that's you need to take a little bit bigger step. Back heels down, hips towards the front of the room. Ribs towards the front of the room. Inhale the arms up. Just find that warrior one first. Keep your belly engaged. And exhale, hands to your heart. And we'll start the movement. So inhaling, reach up. Exhale, draw those landmarks together. Draw the belly in, arms come down. Lean forward, hinge forward. So the movement is hinging from the hips, reaching back with the arms. Inhale up. Press back through the back leg. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hinge forward. Almost lost my mouth. Happens to the best of us. Inhale up. And exhale, hinge forward, arms come back. Extend that spine. Imagine squeezing a block between your legs. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Step that back, foot forward, march the legs a little bit. We're gonna come into a balance posture. If you want to be by a wall, you certainly can do that. And you can have your hand at the wall. I'm just gonna face you. So we'll start with the right leg first. We're gonna press down to that left foot, really root down there. No locking the knee. In fact, you can keep a slight bend if you want. Engage your belly. So that's number 2. Press down through the foot. Number 1, engage that belly. Arms at your side. We're trying not to use the hands. Start to draw your knee up. Just coming to stork pose. Notice how hard that may or may not be. And then we'll change it up by reaching the arms overhead. Keep pressing the foot down and drawing the belly in. Keep a steady gaze, so focusing on one point. If you can, maybe you take your hands to the shin and draw it up a little higher. So this is like what we were doing on the floor earlier. Maybe slide the hand to the top of the foot and draw the knee downward. So we're coming into like a baby dancer pose. Stretching the front of the thigh. You could take the left arm straight up, or you can hold onto a wall if you need to. Breathe. If you want to come back to stork, you can do that. Through the feet a little bit. Nice and slow. Notice how that feels. So we're keeping this movement of the hips. Sometimes it can feel good to, if you have low back issues, it might feel better to stand or to walk. Walking is one of the best ways to get some physical exercise and just not sitting. Sitting is like the worst thing to do. So other side, that was your little rest. Press down to that right foot without locking the knee. Start to draw the left knee in. Keep the belly engaged, right? So I skipped step 2. Step 1 is press down to the foot. Step 2 is draw the belly in. Then step 3 is lift the knee. Find your balance there. When you feel ready, maybe take the arms up. And if this is too much, just bring them back down. Notice how that changes things though. Keep that back strong. And then maybe, if you like, you could, if you can reach the shin, not everyone can, that's okay. You don't have to come here until the teacher is losing her balance. Do that little sidewalk. So, and you might notice your ankle getting tired. And then if you want to take it into baby dancer, you can slide the hand down the foot. So notice what I did there. This way I did not bend down to grab my foot, okay, to come into that. Instead, we bring the knee up, let the hand slide down, bring the foot to or the heel to the glute. The knee straightens. Maybe take the right arm up. If you need to hold on to a wall, you can do that. I'm not going to hold it as long on that side as this is my sprained knee. So if you want to hold yours longer, you can. You can stop. You can shake it out. Shake, shake, shake. You can wiggle the knees back and forth. And we'll start to come back down. So we're not going to forward fold to come down. If you want to try squat balance one more time, you could inhale the arms up. I like to bring them to my exhale to my heart. Start to bend the knees, finding squat balance. And then this is great if you have blocks. You can use them, or you can just reach back. But again, be mindful of the lower back. You can use your blocks to steady you, then bring the hands back and come to your goûter. Bring your seat to the floor. And from here, we're going to come all the way down on our back. Last little extension exercise, final extension. We're going to prepare for bridge pose. So the knees and the feet are hip width apart. Maybe your fingers can even touch your heels. So bringing the heels in. You don't want to way out here. Okay, so you want the feet pretty much under the knees so that as we press down the feet, we can start to lift up. So starting with the hands at the sides, maybe palms face down.
Relax the upper back. Remember that exercise we did earlier when we were sort of tilting the pelvis on the inhale. And as you inhale, maybe you tilt the pelvis forward a little bit without the hands on the thighs. Press down through your feet. Start to lift the hips up. Maybe you can lift a little bit higher. Maybe. Notice if you're squeezing the glutes and see if you can let go a little bit and activate the quads a little bit more. Press down through the feet. When you're ready, slowly lower one, try to be really controlled, like one vertebrae at a time. I know you always hear that. Might not actually be one vertebrae at a time, but you're aiming for pressing down through your feet. Inhale, allow the pelvis to tilt forward a little bit. Find that little bit of arch, then press down with the feet, and then start to lift your hips up. This time, maybe you turn the palms face up and walk the shoulders underneath a little bit more. Press down with the feet. Use those quads, less than the glute. So the glutes are engaged, but try not to squeeze. Keep the belly engaged. Slowly lower back down when you're ready and rest for a moment. And then from here, one more time, you can do what we just did. Or as you inhale, start to tilt the pelvis forward, press down through the feet, start to lift the hips up, walk the shoulders underneath. Maybe you could bend at the elbows and use the upper arms a little bit more. Or if you like the version where you clasp the hands underneath, you could do that as well if you're familiar with that. Notice what you're feeling in the low back. Use the quads, use the feet, press down, a little less from the glutes. Breathe. One more breath. As you're ready, release the hands. Slowly, slowly lower down. Relax the hips. If it feels good, you can take the feet as wide as the mat and maybe let the feet come out a little bit, really gently, taking the knees side to side. So notice how that feels in your lower back. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Just bring the knees back in. Maybe gently bring the knees in towards your chest and hold Apanasana. So kind of like a child's pose on your back. Try not to let the tailbone lift up towards you. You're going to keep it a long tailbone here. Legs up one more time and hold this pose for a little bit. Notice how your back feels. If you have a block, you could, and if it feels okay on your back, lift the hips up, place the block on the flat side or maybe possibly the medium side and start to take the legs up. Now, if you've got anything going on with the vertebrae that are touching that block, that might not feel good for you. You might try to lower it, nice flat side, legs up. Letting the blood just strain back down. You could also do a more restorative version with the legs up the wall, which I'll show you in case you have a wall around. Kind of over to the side. And it might feel nice to place a blanket underneath the hips here too, which I did not do. But just letting the legs completely rest. Again, stretching the hamstrings, releasing, letting go. We'll just stay here for a couple of breaths. We'll take a final twist, and then we'll come into our Shavasana. Take our time. Oh, good, we have plenty of time. We'll hold this a little bit longer. Again, you could stay in this, if you want to stay with the legs against the wall for several minutes. Pause the tape if you're watching this later. You can't pause it if you're watching it live. But this recording will live on my YouTube channel. If you're on the block, you're gonna slowly bring the feet down and then lift the hips up, take the block out. If you're just on the floor, maybe draw the knees in, and if your legs up the wall, draw the knees in. Gently start to roll to your side if you're by the wall, and come back onto your back, onto your mat. So centering the hips, nice symmetrical body. We're gonna straighten that left leg again, keeping the right knee bent and the foot, actually, I'm sorry, you're gonna step the right foot across the left. You keep the foot on the floor. And then just start to draw that right foot towards you with the left hand. You should feel a stretch here in the right glute and piriformis. Doesn't have to be real big. Not trying to pull it way across the body. Just letting go the glute muscles around that area of the hip. And come back to the breath. So as we work with Mula Bandha more, like drawing those, thinking about drawing those 4 points together, that can also help you find stability in some of the other standing poses. So we'll do some other things next week, building on that. And then draw the knees straight into the chest one last time, that half Apanasana pose. Bring the foot down. So if you have low back pain, it might not feel good to stretch both legs at the same time. So I bend this one first, and then straighten the right. Step your left foot across the body. And it's okay if your foot shifts a little bit, but don't like draw it all the way up. You're going to start getting a little further into the glute, and you might start pulling on the lower spine a little bit. So we're not trying to do that. This isn't an extreme stretch. We're just trying to release the piriformis specifically. Breathe. Each breath, letting go a little bit more. And then gently draw that knee in one more time. Maybe draw both knees in, rocking a little bit side to side. If that feels okay, notice what you're feeling. Don't, pull so hard that you lift the tailbone up. Might feel good to rock gently. And then bring the feet back down. Take the feet as wide as the mat and the knees together. This might be your Shavasana today. If you feel okay stretching the legs, you could stretch the legs. You might put a rolled blanket under your knees or bolster if you have one. I'm going to just stay with my knees bent. Bring awareness again to the base of the spine. Notice any sensation you feel. Breathe in. The upper body relax as you exhale. Your arms maybe fall to the sides. Take a couple deep breaths here. With each exhale, let go a little bit more. Notice where you're still holding tension in the body. If you are, maybe in the glutes or the lower back, use the breath. Imagine that you could breathe into those spaces and expand them, and as you exhale, just soften and let go of some of that tension. Let the body rest and integrate from the practice. If you like, you can stay here and rest as long as you need to. If you're ready to come out and you need to do other things, start to bring awareness to your senses, noticing the air as it passes in and out of your nose. Feel the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. And notice the feel of the air against the skin. Notice the sounds in the room. Sense of vision, even behind closed eyes. Or maybe your eyes are open by now. That's up to you. And any lingering taste in the mouth, the taste of your own saliva. And come back to the breath. And as you breathe, allow the breath to inspire movement back into the body. Maybe just gently moving the fingers and the toes or circling parts of the body, or even just taking the head side to side, gently. As you feel ready for a bigger stretch, maybe you reach and take a long stretch if that feels appropriate for your back. And then bending one knee, just for your back. And then bending one knee, just taking care of the back here. We're going to roll to the straight leg side. Doesn't matter which side you want to roll to. Take a minute to pause here. So always be careful if we have the knees bent. You don't want to put too much pressure on the low back. So it feels okay for you. When you feel grounded and ready, we'll slowly walk ourselves all the way back up to sit. Remember what we said about sitting. So you might want to be on a blanket or a block, whatever you need to just tilt your pelvis a little bit forward. And if you want to come back to that Adho Vriddhanda Mudra, if that felt okay for you, curl the fingers in, let the thumb be extended straight up, and rest the pinky side on the thighs. Soften your gaze and allow yourself to go inward. Bring awareness to the base of the spine. Breathe into the belly. And as you exhale, notice if anything has shifted or changed. In your next inhale, imagine that sense of lifting and lengthening the spine, creating space between the vertebrae. And on your next breath, just envisioning a healthy spine from tail to crown. Bringing hands together in front of the heart. The practice with the sound of Om. If you wish to join me, inhale. Namaste. May you be healthy. May you have peace.
Thanks for joining me. We'll be live again next week at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.